It's March 22nd, 2018, and you're listening to the Beer Temple Insiders Roundtable.
Remember, this is what we wanted. Remember, this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again. Remember, this is what we wanted. Remember, this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again.
Hello, and welcome to the Beer Temple Insiders Roundtable. I'm your host, Chris Quinn. We're going to check real quick. Can you hear me, Alex?
I can.
Okay, good. That's all I needed to know. I will introduce you in a moment. No one knows what's going on, but I just needed... My producer was telling me that, and they kind of get angry when I don't follow their instructions. Anyway, for everyone else out there, hello and welcome. I'm your host, Chris Quinn, coming to you once again from the Co-Prosperity Sphere in beautiful Bridgeport, Chicago, a.k.a. the community of the future. Studio
We're in
B.
the future?
Yeah. We're in the future. The future is now, essentially.
Villanova's playing is going to be a pass soon.
Yeah. We beat your ass a couple times. I wouldn't worry about that. Anyway, I wanted to... we're coming from Studio B, and kind of a rush little intro. So hold on, let me get my bearings here. Okay, I want to thank everyone who's listening to 105.5 FM over the airwaves or on Lumpen Radio, the app, or TuneIn Radio, or anywhere else, and not listening to the NCAA tournament. Don't listen to producer Jamie. Villanova plays tomorrow, not tonight. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. I'd have to find something else to do, I suppose. But I want to thank all you guys for listening. If you are listening, you should hop on into the live chat, tlk.io/WLPN. I also want to thank everyone who listens not on live chat or live stream or anything like that. You don't really listen on live chat, you just watch. But I want to thank you guys as well, iTunes and stuff like that. If you could leave a positive comment, we always appreciate that. But if not, just your ears are good enough. For those listening for the first time, let me just give you an idea of what's going on. I read a little spiel all the time, and basically, well, here's the spiel. I'll just say it. The goal of the show is to open up a window into how the people making, selling, marketing, and facilitating the beer, getting into your glass, feel about the topics that are part of their everyday lives. Many of my greatest beer experiences have been talking about beer while sharing beer with people whose opinions I respect and admire. And it's these experiences that I hope to capture with the Beer Temple Insiders Roundtable. And I will introduce my guests at this point, but I like to mention before I do that my guests' opinions are their own and only their own, and not the opinions of maybe any other entity or business or whatever that they may be associated with. But in particular, they are not the opinions of Lumpen Radio. So I just have to say that. Probably not the Beer Temple, but maybe. Just not necessarily. I mean, they might be the opinions of Lumpen Radio. You never know. It's a mystery. You never know the opinions of Lumpen Radio. They really don't let their opinions known. So it's hard to know. But anyway, let me get on to my guests. We introduce my guests in by seniority. Not age or anything like that, but by how many times they've been on. I'm not sure who it is this time, but I think it's you, Melanie.
Is it me?
I think it is you. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm in the future, and I'm the OG
Yeah, exactly.
at this table.
Yes. Melanie Dominguez, the Green Lady. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I just came from a barrel-aged beer event at my shop, so...
Oh.
Yep. So
What
I had
beer?
Drago.
Nice.
Yep. So I've been watching Rocky IV since about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Was on the third time around when I left. It just keeps getting better. That's a movie that just keeps getting better.
The more you watch it and the more
I watch
you
it,
drink.
the more I watch it, the more I enjoy it. So it was good. It was good. I personally think it was an in-ring murder. I don't think it was a sporting accident. I think it was a malicious murder of Apollo Creed, but that's just me.
Ooh, we're going to get political right off the bat?
Yeah, I do, but it doesn't matter. The Cold War is over. I also think that Rocky IV was kind of the first chip in the Berlin Wall, so to speak. I think that kind of led.
That's what brought it down?
That's sort of the snowball, yeah.
Not Reagan.
No.
No.
It was Rocky Balboa, the Italian stallion. But anyway.
They are known for bringing down walls.
Yeah, sure.
Why not?
But thanks for coming on. I mean,
Thanks
we're
for
not here to
having me.
talk about Rocky. I mean, we can, but I don't think we're here to talk about Rocky Balboa. Anything else new with you, Melanie? You brought some
The
beers from New England, I saw. Vermont. You have some Vermont beers.
I do.
Were those given? You have to tell whenever a beer from Vermont comes into this studio, we have to ask, did Fitz give it to you?
I'm going to say yes.
Is it? And you're going to say that, but it's also the truth.
It is the truth. It is the truth, yes.
All right.
But I would like to also point out that I brought the square root of 400, which the last time I was here I had mentioned, and you said, oh, I haven't had that beer. So I brought
haven't.
that specifically for
Thank
you
you.
to try as well.
I'll have to try some here. Why don't you
But I thought you would
pour me
appreciate
some? I
the
do
New
appreciate
England,
it.
IPAs more than...
Then you might.
Well, I just wanted to share them with all of you.
Cool.
I really hope it's hazy. Oh, man. Is it hazy?
Look
That
at
is
him.
it.
Eric, Buster is sweating.
Oh, man, I can't wait.
Well,
It's crazy. Since you've come in, you came in clean shaven.
Yes.
And your neck has a 5 o'clock shadow
Well, yeah, of course.
now, just from that can being pulled out.
Yeah, and I'm going to be braiding it by the end of the show is the hope.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, but you're not up yet. Next, I think. Oh man, who is next? I think you're up next. Eric,
You can call, yeah,
my
whatever.
boy.
Hi, how are you?
What's up?
Last time I did the show, I
Buster?
was on with you and with Melanie, so it's like a reunion.
Oh,
it is a
really?
reunion, yeah.
I love it.
Were you on with Mike as well? Dusty?
Yeah,
Yes.
I know Mike.
And
yeah.
Pat Fahey.
And yeah, I think Mike's in Japan. I think he took Dust over there, actually. He was trying to break down the wall between America and Japan that was built with Citra hops. He's tearing it down. I'm really proud of him.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think he's just trying to get in early on the dust trade,
Oh, sure.
the dust road, so to speak. Okay.
Sure.
Well, what's new with you, man? You've been all over the place.
Yeah, I was in Florida at Cigar City's Hunapoo Day. I got to witness a lot of grown men running to get in line for beer, which is a sight to behold. I know that
Talk about that. Like, in all honesty, talk about that a little bit.
just the running or the whole
Yeah,
thing.
the whole thing. but end it with the running. The running of the men.
Yeah, that was quite an eye-opening experience, and I think the most eye-opening part for me is that the breweries that they were running to get in line for I had never heard of before, which made me realize how out of touch I am with the beer community at large. So I'm always learning. I'm always trying new things. It was a good experience though. A lot of hazy beer down there. A lot of really sweet, syrupy, adjunct-heavy stouts.
Fruited Berliners.
Yeah, could never get enough. That was a very intense crowd.
Were there any that you liked within those styles that you particularly thought were awesome?
So our volunteer never showed up to our booth, so I was not able to really get out and go try that many other beers from other breweries because I was working most of the time. So, I didn't really get to go try and explore all that much, to be honest. Unfortunately.
And you guys were doing a little collabo setup with Pipeworks down there, right? Or weren't you?
Oh yeah, we did the night before the festival. We did an event at Coppertail Brewing with the dudes from Pipeworks. They set up a half pipe, called it Half Pipes with Half Acre and Pipeworks. Pretty great, if you ask me. So we each had 6 beers on. It was a really good time, really good turnout. And after that, we went to a brewery in Ybor City that Marco, who used to work at Revolution, opened up. I cannot remember the name of it. And then the night, just got better from there. So
Nice.
a good time.
Overall, did you enjoy your time at you, Eric, Buster? Did you enjoy Cigar City Hunapoo Day. Did you have any zombie dust down there?
Yeah, by the time I got over to the Three Floyds booth, the zombie dust had kicked.
But for you, they
were still out. Yeah, I didn't get to try any dust, unfortunately.
So you're still ISO.
Yeah, I'm ISO.
Yeah.
I'm always ISO. It was a really, really good time. I'm thankful that we were invited, and it was nice to pour for the enthusiastic beer community in Tampa.
And the running?
Oh, yeah. The running was unlike anything I've ever seen before. It was a sight to behold. A lot of grown men.
Like set the scene.
Okay.
It's a warm Florida.
It's an overcast.
Overcast
Florida day.
Yeah.
These people have been in line for just to get into the event for hours, just to get to get in line to then go get in line for another beer. And,
right.
And the crowd was hyped up.
But the idea of a second line to get in was a change.
Well,
of pace.
They're excited to get in another line.
Yeah.
To get in another line.
Right.
For a brewery that is a gypsy brewer, so like they were like getting in line for someone that didn't even like physically have a brewery, which for me, I thought that was kind of funny. And I had also never heard of the brewery before. So anyways, they like take the gate down and everyone just stands there and then like 3, 2, 1, go. And a guy in a...
Hold on. You're skipping the best part.
What?
The gate, like 3, 2, 1, go. Did literally someone say 3, 2, 1, go and like lift up a gate like with the running of the bulls?
I think they took the gate.
There was a gate, literally a gate that people were standing at.
They pulled
grown
the gate
men
aside.
were standing behind
they pulled
a
the
gate.
gate aside, and then I believe it was at noon they opened it up, and there was a guy who worked at some brewery that I don't know who it was, but he had on a white luchador. No, that's not the right word. That's
like the running of the bulls thing.
Yeah,
Pamplona, like that Pamplona thing.
There's a
for
guy
real.
in a full, I swear. In a full-on white costume,
That's amazing.
white outfit, white pants, white shirt,
that red sash thing.
red sash, and he was like running at the front of the pack, and he was almost instantly outrun by some other people.
Amazing.
I watched some people face plant, unfortunately.
Oh no, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah,
you saw face plant. No, that's not unfortunate.
I didn't see that on video after the fact, but
you did see that.
No, I saw that in person, but I did not see it on video, unfortunately.
No, that is unfortunate.
I know. I wasn't taking video. I've at the Great Taste, there's like a brisk trot, but never like a dead-on sprint.
Or just like it's like a speed walk where you're like kind of looking around to see if anyone sees how much effort you're exerting without looking like you are. But this was straight up like there was, let's go for it.
Oh yeah, there was no messing around. I was like, no, I need to get in line.
You know what I want to know
now
is the guy who did a face plant when he went into work the next day and had like a scraped cheek and like a busted lip. Like, oh, what happened?
Right.
Well, like what does he have to like? The excuse he would have to make up is gold right there.
Just be honest.
I was running to get a taste of a marshmallow stout, and I had to run to get in front of the guy dressed like a Pamplona guy, and I did a face plant, and I regret nothing. That's what you want to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for coming on, dude. Good to see you.
That's good to see you. Have a good one.
Yeah. Later. My next guest is the beer cruncher, the beer aficionado, Mr. Doug Valicki, man of many names. How are you?
Good. And if you ever want to refer to both Eric and I as a collective, I just thought of a great name, Buster Douglas.
Buster Douglas. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. That's right. We've got Buster Capron, Buster Douglas. It's good. It's good. And you were said last time you were on that you're like a distant relative of Buster Keaton, you were saying?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Definitely said that.
That's cool.
Wait, we were on together last time.
Yeah, you remember that, right? He was talking about how Buster Keaton's like his great-great-grandfather.
I think I tuned out when we started talking sports.
You remembered a beer that we were talking about, the square root of 400, but you don't remember my possibly being
remember
related.
Beer. I don't remember names.
Sure. I get it.
Yeah. Anyway, we have a new guest, first-time guest. He is on...
It was good to see you, Doug.
Yep, Buster Douglas.
We're low on time.
One of the greats. One of the greats, Buster Douglas. Oh yeah, Doug. What else?
I was like George Costanza. I was leaving on a high note. I signaled move on to the next
What's
one.
new with you? You're repping the. Thank you.
No, I'm done.
Thank you, Buster, for letting. No, what's new with you? There's a lot. Come on.
No, not a lot.
There's nothing new.
I was
Okay.
I just came from trying to show my son that he's 2.5 years old, that playing with his toys is more fun than watching videos of himself play with his toys, which is what he prefers. You might be able to.
Good luck
yeah.
with
So
that.
that's life right now, pretty much.
Good luck. My kid would only. My son would. There's only one thing he'd rather do than play with Play-Doh, which is watch videos of other people playing with Play-Doh. I mean, that's just. I mean, if he can't watch videos of it, he'll settle for playing with it. But it's just how it is. My next guest, Mr. Alex Kidd, is on via Skype. Alex, what we generally do is first-time guests introduce themselves. So can you let everyone know who you are and where you are in the world of beer?
My name's Alex Kidd, and I run don'tdrinkbeer.com. Also the Instagram account, Don't Drink Beers, plural. And I'm a beer critic, entertainer. I don't know.
All around swell guy. Well, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. Now so your Instagram, or did you say Twitter? What was it? Is the plural one?
The plural is the Instagram. There's someone who's just squatting, not using the non-plural one. But the Instagram is Don't Drink Beers. But the Twitter is Don't Drink Beer.
Okay. Where are you more? I mean, I'm guessing a lot of people who are listening are probably somewhat familiar. If not, you should go on and take a look. It's kind of like the New Yorker of beer criticism. It's like long read, deep dive, highly intellectual beer stuff, which I like. I geek on that. So good on you. My question is, have you been focusing more on Instagram or the blog? Are you kind of 50-50, or just a personal question? I don't know. Just curious. Alex.
I heard. Have you been focusing more?
Oh, we cut out. Okay. Well, let's just leave it at that. It's probably it's good.
They get the gist. They got your Twitter name.
They got it. They know what's going on.
Nice.
Anyway, so if it cuts out again, just let me know, and I'll ignore it and just move on to the next topic. So what we like to do is talk about beers we've had that we've enjoyed lately, or maybe beers that we're excited to try. For me, it's Square Root of 400, obviously, because I never had it and it was brought just for me. Not from Vermont, but from
Switzerland.
Your hands, from
all
Switzerland.
the way from Switzerland.
Yeah. But is there anything else? Who wants to go first?
I got one.
Yeah.
This isn't something I've had, but something I just got that I'm excited about. Prairie did this program maybe a little less than a year ago where you could get a group of people together and split a barrel of their barrel-aged imperial stout, and then you could pick up to 3 adjuncts that they would put in it, and then they would you could create your own name, and there's different like labels to pick from, pre-made labels.
Okay, hold on.
Yep.
So I'm going to interrupt briefly and say, did they already have it pre-mixed with maple, vanilla, and cinnamon, and then just said, hey, guys, pick the 3 adjuncts you want, and then send it to you?
You left out coconut.
Oh, and coconut,
See,
sorry.
mine had coconut.
Oh, sorry.
I don't
My
think
bad.
they could quite do that. And there's probably 6 or 7. I voted to do vanilla, but that got shut down. But anyway, I just got them. A lot of people all over the country have these because they split them with people they've met from traveling for beer and all that. Because you need a good, pretty sizable group. So the one we did was we just did like a voting poll on Facebook to come up with the 3. It was just Cocoa Nibs, coconut, and vanilla.
Wow.
Just like
man, you have this great opportunity to do something really cool, and you really went for it. Congratulations. I'd be excited to try that too. You know what? I think I'll just go pick up whatever comes in tomorrow and open that up because it'll probably have the same thing. But anyway, no, I'm kidding you. I'm not kidding. Why didn't you do something cool like candied ginger
You could have
or
put Citra hops in
or
there.
Citra hops, exactly, or haze?
It literally took 75 people to split a barrel, so I
Yeah,
had very
right.
little say on it. But
That's true.
I wasn't going to turn it down, though.
That is a cool opportunity to try. Now, here's another question. A legit question, not just me being a jerk question. Do you think that the inevitability of how many barrels did they do of this? Just one?
I don't know. I know they had trouble with like the names. Like our name got shot down 4 times, and then we eventually just had to throw a stupid name at it because it was just like tired of getting a consensus and then having it
Shot down by like TTB
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Different reasons, not necessarily inappropriate, but just it's something you couldn't put in the name of a beer.
Right.
And but I heard it went well for them, and that they're definitely doing it again.
So then they put it in bottles for you, or
Yeah. Yep. Someone has to go there, pick up the
Now-
however many cases.
so now-
but it's like a lot.
I'm sure if how many barrels, you don't know how many barrels they did.
I
Total.
don't know. Alex might have a better idea. I'm sure he knows about these and has maybe a guess at how many different ones.
Do you know how many
there are.
barrels they did, Alex?
I want to say something like 19 or something. There was, because I went through and looked at the list because it was exactly as you stated. Like half of them looked very similar to Pirates Paradise on paper. It was like they were video game designers. Like you can make any game you want, and they were like, we want Mario but with a Zelda head. And then some guys were just like, we just want Mario.
Right. Right. So, hey, what's up, Juan? Oh. So, do you think that if people pick the exact same thing, did they do 2 separate blends? I mean, they should, right?
Well,
I guess they're dosing the individual barrels, yeah. So, there you go.
and the best was on the trade forums, you would see the exact same mixture of ingredients, and you'd see people trying to discreetly differentiate theirs. Like, no, ours has Monster coffee. Yeah. Ours was lower in the rack house. Ours had more saturation to like boost the trade value.
Really? Just straight up, like, not that they cared, just to boost trade value. That person was Beer Cruncher. That person was Beer Cruncher.
Under a different alias.
Under a different alias. That's good. That's good. That's awesome. How much did it cost for a whole barrel?
I don't remember. I want to say a bottle was we each got 5 or 6, and I want to say it was maybe $12 a bottle or something like that. It wasn't bad. Yeah, I think I got 6, and it was like $75 or $80.
All right. It would have been great for someone to just do something absolutely like out of control, like anchovies or something like that in there. And
you had to pick from their list. Like
from there. Like a TTV approved list that they have.
There was like maybe 12 to 15 options.
Okay.
Something like that.
So what has the best trade value right now?
I don't know. I don't pay attention.
Are you going to trade your bottle for like half a bottle of something better because it was in the rack house at a different spot?
If I knew of somebody locally that had a different one of them, I would certainly swap them.
How many bottles do you have coming?
I got 6, and I gave one to a coworker that loves Prairie, so I have 5 now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks for not bringing one. Yeah. So who's next? Alex, anything you've had lately or that you're excited to try?
Yeah, I just had Floodland Protection Spells. This is a hot new banger out of the Pacific Northwest that's been setting the farmhouse world ablaze.
Nice. And it's what was it called?
The brewery is Floodland, and the beer is called Protection Spells. It's a mixed fermentation saison base with an acid beer mixed back blended in on pluots.
Oh, and you dug it?
It was really good. I think that they're hot contender for definitely a new spot to watch.
They're a contender for someone to watch. Okay, so don't watch them yet, but they're a contender. Yeah.
Don't waste your eye time.
Right. Okay. Well, who should we be watching right now?
I really like Cherry Street in Georgia. Their barrel program's awesome. And Voodoo's consistently been pumping out great stuff out of their barrel program. So, but that's old hat. Everybody knows about those guys.
That's not why we had you on, Alex. Tell me about that. Anyway, and Melanie, anything for you that you've had lately?
The St. Bernardus Wit in a can.
Yes.
They are now canning. So
yes.
That was pretty good. And I was actually in Michigan recently, and I went to a place called Arclight,
mm-hmm.
and they've got some really good foedered sours.
Yes. Yeah.
So those were really surprisingly good.
Mm-hmm. Have you gone yet, Buster?
To say what beer I like?
Yeah.
No.
No, not have you spoken. I mean,
no.
Did you go to Arclight, I think is what he was asking.
Yeah. No, I've never been to Arclight. I haven't had any beer. No, I had I was out in California a few weeks ago, and I brought back a bunch of beer from Modern Times, and they had this Berliner Weiss called Order of Hermes. It just says it's a Berliner, but it's got some tropical fruit thing going on in there that I couldn't like pinpoint that I really enjoyed a lot. Mm-hmm. And I like those people a lot too because they invite us to stuff and they're really nice.
Yeah. They are like the miniature, like big brewery where they're trying to go to different markets and opening up little tap rooms. I mean, how many different tap rooms do they have at this point?
4 or 5?
Yeah, 4
it's
or
a lot,
5.
yeah. And they also like make I feel like they make every variant of every style. They like have a bunch of NEPAs, a bunch of barrel-aged stouts, a bunch of different like sours and fruited sours. Like they're just like trying to be all things to all people, spending a lot of time and energy on packaging and marketing and all that. So, but from what I understand, they've been pretty well received in the new markets that they've opened up in. So,
hold on.
What's going
Is
on?
it once Alex is done moving his 2x4s around and kind of doing the light construction drywall of his podcast studio, we'll get done. Hey, do you know what the Skype line is, Jerry? Or that one? All right, just mute his ass. There you go. Mute him. All right, perfect. Now, when he talks, we can. Oh, that's fine. That word is fine, Jerry. Anyway, you were saying?
Yeah, Modern Times, good people. Pretty much the gist of it.
All right, works
Great.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go have a square root of 400, and we're gonna listen to some people would call them commercials. I wouldn't. I would call them opportunities to hear about new shows that are on Lumpen Radio. And it takes about 90 seconds, 60 seconds, something like that. And then after that, you'll be listening to more of this, the Beer Temple Insiders Roundtable. But until then, check this stuff out. Welcome back to the Beer Temple Insiders Roundtable. I am your host, Chris Quinn, and I am joined by my guests, the Green Lady, Melanie Dominguez. Now, I have a question. Do you not like being referred to as the Green Lady? Because I once was referring to you not on the show as the Green Lady, and someone said, she has a name.
Well, that's true. I do have a
Yeah,
name.
which you do, but
I'm the Green Lady.
Yeah. Oh, I'm okay. Okay, cool.
I guess it depends on the context that you were referring to me as the Green Lady.
Well, like if you didn't want to be named because it was like a really bad thing, then just refer to you as a Green Lady.
Yes.
Yeah, it was that.
Okay.
It was that. You wouldn't want to have been named.
Okay.
Also, my other guests,
Buster
Douglas and Alex Kidd. So there you are. So I noticed, Alex, you went into the outline and you put a whole bunch of stuff down. Kunin, BB4D, snooze alert, was drinking that like at least 3 weeks ago. So okay. Boulevard, is that Boulevard Tequila Lime Barrel Goes?
Yeah.
What's that?
I don't know if that's out yet, but they sent it to me, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's just a crushable, little salty 4% guy with aged in a tequila barrel, and I'm thinking it's lime zest. It's really good, really refreshing.
The Veil, I see. Paul Bearer, that's cool.
Yeah.
And
Is that a WrestleMania beer?
That was the first thing I thought, and I don't know, because it has kind of like a macabre tone to it. There's definitely no Kane or Undertaker on it.
Well, it's spelled P-A-L-L, Bearer.
Oh, like the band?
Yeah, but not P-A-U-L.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. It's not Paul Bearer.
I can't see that far.
Yeah, I'm letting you know. I'm
Okay,
letting you know.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Great.
Speaking of which, what do you have on your shirt there? Who's that?
This is Tetsuya Naito. He is usually in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but he came and did a run of 3 shows in the Midwest. He wrestled at the Logan Square Auditorium with the AAW promotion, and I was there. It was great.
Oh, cool.
I'm wearing the shirt.
On my birthday. That's why you weren't there.
Yeah.
I thought you said you were sick.
Yeah.
No, that's enough. That's fine. Anyway, the first.
No, I didn't say I was sick. I just said I had better things to do.
No, you said you were sick. You said
okay.
you couldn't get out of bed. and that's why I can't make your birthday, Chris. I'm reading it right now on my phone. So anyway, that's cool. Glad your friend got you a shirt at least. So I wanted to talk about hot news in the beer world. Is that there's multiple new categories for the in the Brewers Association, their official style guidelines and stuff like that, and that means that for World Beer Cup and for GABF that there will be officially new medals given out and new beers to be judged and so on and so on. There's a few that I found interesting. I would also like if because they cut some as well. I'd like to know what those were. But the ones that were added were Juicy Hazy. So they got your letter, Buster. They got your letter. They added a Juicy Hazy Pale Ale, Juicy Hazy IPA, Juicy Hazy Double IPA.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on this. They obviously were listening to all the letters I was sending in, saying, "You guys, this is 2018. No one likes to drink beer that has any hop or any malt profile whatsoever,
or
there's hops
bitterness,
in it.
or bitterness.
No, absolutely not."
Yeah.
So thankfully they're going to have these new categories. I'm really excited. I'm also really excited to see how these beers hold up, because you have to submit your entries for these festivals.
Well, don't jump ahead too much there, my friend.
Oh, is that another topic?
Well, that might be... No, it's not on the topic, but it's...
You're taking his point.
No, I'm not taking my point, but I'm with you.
No, I don't know
It's called stretching out the story.
I got you.
But on to the next thing anyway.
Yeah.
In other
We're going to get
news-
through all the topics tonight. There's a ton of them.
Yeah. No, you're... I'm with you. I'm curious. I do think it was about... They had to have done it, right? I think it's a good move.
So
right?
I think it's good for a lot of reasons. Number one, the IPA and the hop forward categories at GABF always have the most entries, so maybe this will split them out a little bit.
So how do you compare, like, I don't know, like what's a classic IPA?
Bell's Two Hearted.
How do you compare Bell's Two Hearted to, Haysbro, whatever, like Treehouse or something like that?
Sure.
I mean, they're just completely. They're very different. They're very different.
Yep.
Doug, what do you think about it?
I gotta imagine they probably needed to do this to protect interest in these festivals, and what style generates more enthusiasm right now and gets people out of their house to go pick up and try beer. It's really those. So I feel like if they ignored it, they might be hurting the festival over the next couple of years. So I feel like it's a smart move for that reason. If they want to keep like the new crowds that are getting into beer now and just got into beer over the last few years, if they want them to come to GABF and World Beer Cup and pay attention and care about the awards, they kind of need to give an award to this style that's getting all the chatter right now.
It's funny, I wouldn't think that it would help get people to the festival, but I do think it would. It definitely is good for getting ink afterwards, because somebody won and somebody didn't win and that sort of thing. Like, no matter what, it's going to be big news, I think, in the world of people who care about GABF awards, which, I mean, I stream it live at my place, so I'm a number one, like, dork, but I think...
At your home or your bar?
Well, depends. I mean, it used to be at the store. Yeah, we used to stream it live. And at the bar, we did. Last year, we did it.
Did you build brackets?
Yeah, I do.
Who's got Dortmunder this year? 42 entries.
Oh, nice. Only 42.
Nice.
I'm gonna kill it. No, I just think it's kind of, I mean, you have a beer bar. I mean, and I have a TV that I never use. I might as well use it in the middle of the day to, stream Charlie Papazian fist bumping people and stuff like that. I think no matter what, it's going to be great for the BA. I think it's if people are complaining, which I haven't really heard anyone complaining about it, or and after the awards are given out, you've got the people who are saying like, "Oh, that's bogus. I can't believe that they won." I just think it's
I've seen a lot of complaining in the last.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've seen a lot of-
What were the? Tell me about it. I want to hear.
Well, I don't remember specifics, but I just remember following it the last 2 years, seeing a lot of people questioning how they're not recognizing these styles that are some of the most talked about.
No, I mean now that it's been announced, you've seen complaining.
Oh no, sorry. I meant in the past that they didn't have this. So I think
Right.
that's part of what I'm saying is why they needed to do it to, to get people, make sure people aren't writing it off because they're not recognizing these styles of beer.
Yeah. And now the other thing is, how will they hold up? And that's another whole nother thing is like, oh, well, ours is the best fresh, but, you got to go to somebody like so-and-so if you want it to actually, hold up at all for a month or two. But fresh, ours is still better, which might honestly be true.
When do they have to submit the beer?
It's about 6 weeks in advance, usually. Sometimes a little longer. I feel like World Beer Cup's like 8 weeks.
Yeah, I almost said 60 days.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty long period of time. And, a lot of these beers, they're produced, sold, and consumed within such a short period of time. A lot of times these beers aren't even getting onto retail shelves. So no one really has any idea of what they taste like in a month, let alone 2 months. So it'll be interesting to see.
What do you think is going to happen?
Oh, man. There's going to be some new people that people are some new breweries people are hyped up about.
Do you think any one of the ones who made the style famous are going to? Let me throw it to you, Alex. What do you think? Is anyone who made the style famous going to win an award for it?
I don't know, because what ends up happening
that's
is
obvious.
they look at this as a sort of war of attrition where they don't have a ton to win. It's like it's easier for the likes of Sean Hill and Casey to fold their arms and go, we already crushed the Saison game. We don't have to submit. So if you're asking if like other half Treehouse and Monkish are going to go for the title belt in this brand new style, I don't know, because they're basically putting a product almost 8 weeks out that's predominantly dry hop forward. And I don't know if they really will. I can't speak for them, but I don't see them. They don't need any hype, or they don't need any more dudes standing around in parking lots on Wednesday at 2 p.m.
I totally 100% agree. I wouldn't even enter if I were them, because there's nothing to win, everything to lose.
But it's never really about whether they need it. They'll take it.
And most of those breweries...
So what do you think then, Doug?
I don't know. I think they'll submit.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't think they want to miss out on a chance. I don't think they'll lose out by not winning a medal, but I think if they do get it, it'll just be one more level.
And I guess
level up.
if you submit and don't win, you're just basically anonymous, right?
Yeah, no one knows. You can submit beer to the festival and not pour. So,
Right.
So yeah, if you win, cool. If not, we didn't care about it anyways.
Right, exactly. But Alex makes a good point. I mean, I would. Well, Sean Hill definitely doesn't. I mean, as the awards are going on, he's usually tweeting about how he thinks that the BA is. He's talking ill of the BA and stuff like that. So, I think there's going to be some people who are unknown, more or less, who are going to be winning it, just because that's how the general trend for these awards seems to be going. I
think some of the best dissonance will come from this brand new style, and because BA is usually like 5 to 7 years slow in the uptake when it comes to either accepting styles or
dropping styles. Yeah,
dropping styles. Like otherwise, we would still have Cascadian dark ales and hoppy porters.
They still do, dude. They have American style black ale. They have American style black ale.
Okay, fine. Then I rescind that.
So they're 10 to 12 years behind. Yeah.
We have like a constantly evolving style of beer, and they're supposed to benchmark it and say that these are the classic examples. Like I could see it coming out like a Paste magazine article where people just flip the table over and go, "What, Odell?" or like whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, it could happen either way. I think that. Well, let me think. Josh Noel wrote in something about this, but I mean, he basically echoed what we were just saying. That I think they were in a position where they would look irrelevant if they didn't add this, which I kind of think is what you were saying, Doug.
Yeah.
And I think it will actually, like you were saying, Doug, bring people to the festival that wouldn't
too.
necessarily
Do you really?
go. Yeah, I really do.
Well,
So
especially
you think there's
I don't know that
somebody?
they're going to
people like
run
us keep talking about
as soon
it,
as they
like,
open the
it
gate
helps.
as quickly as they did for the pastry stouts. But
are
They
you
wouldn't- for real? So you wouldn't go? But you would say, "I'm not going. I'm not flying to Denver." Oh wait, there's a new hazy pale style. Now I'm going. I don't go to GABF because I don't like the awarded styles. I mean, nobody
no,
says that.
I feel like the opportunity to taste all of these different ones that you don't have otherwise would take you there.
But aren't those poured anyway, or no?
What?
I mean, I think beers that aren't awarded are still poured, or beers that are not to style. Like Half Acre, do you guys ever pour at GABF?
We have in the past. And we usually pour different beer at the fest than we enter into competition.
Right. So, I mean, I would think that
'Cause we don't make beer to style, and I think that's
Exactly.
why they had to evolve and change and create a new style of beers for that very reason.
Because most people aren't making beers that are true to style anymore.
Right.
And you're going to turn off the breweries that make those beers if you're not recognizing them, in the awards. So they need a lot of vendors, breweries set up. So maybe recognizing them will help continue to drive interest in breweries flying out their teams to participate and pour these beers at the festival.
So there's two things that came to mind as we were talking. One is, do you think that some of the hype around the hazy beer thing could actually be diluted by a bunch of, let's say, like no-name brew pubs or unknown brew pubs winning it? Do you think that could have, people being like, well, it looks like anyone can make it? Or would just people say, like Alex was saying, flip the table and say, who's judging this stuff? The judges obviously don't know really good haze like you do, Eric.
I'm an aficionado. I'm haze aficionado.
What do you look
on
for
Twitter.
in haze? Like specifically just in haze, like what makes you sweat?
Oh, the hops, baby. You got to see some hops in the beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can see the adjunct that's added to make it hazy, I prefer that. Actually.
Right. You want to see like a little bit of the package of like the Pillsbury flour. Like you want to see a little bit of that like floating around in there.
I prefer it. I do prefer it.
Right.
The only problem is when you're judging blindly at an event like that, you can't see which sticker label went on the 16-ounce can in ahead of time. So how are you going to know what's inside
good?
Of it? Yeah.
What if it was a printed can?
Oh, why bother?
But what if you drank it and liked it? Like that would be like
That'd be upsetting.
That'd be upsetting.
And what I'm really looking forward to is
Now, will that be a style? Best printed can 16-ounce hazy beer.
It's no such thing.
yeah. Maybe besides Hetty Topper, and maybe they'll just get
What
the
about Sam Adams?
Legacy Award.
Hazy Juicy. Isn't that what it was called? No, New England IPA. Hazy Juicy was New Belgium.
Okay.
Hazy Juicy Ranger IPA. Yeah, let's just let that silence speak for itself.
I'm really looking for.
It sounds procedurally generated, like an alien came down and was like, "Do you like the hazy juicy like I do?"
Yeah. It seems like, like IRI data came through and said, it says the biggest style is hazy juicy, so let's make that a beer, hazy juicy.
I always pictured somebody at a boardroom table saying, it's got to either say hazy or juicy, but preferably both.
Exactly.
Or we better make it both.
Or it's like things that people respond to. Hazy, number 1. Juicy, number 2. IPA, number 3. Well, there we go. It's a surefire win. That makes me sad for New Belgium because they are, after Boston Beer, or along with Boston Beer, I think are the most clumsy at that stuff. I like New Belgium. You guys can all be silent if you want, but
I love New Belgium.
I love New
I
Belgium
also love
too,
New
and I love their food program. I love a lot of stuff that
La
they
Folie
do.
is one of the best.
Yeah, you guys can all say that, but those guys are throwing stuff at the wall and going off their original brand. In my mind, my personal opinion, not Lumpin' Radio's, not anybody else's.
Well, I'll tell you the Green Lady's opinion on this one.
Yeah,
Is that I feel like there's this fine line with these breweries that have had these programs for a number of years, and they feel like they have to stay relevant. And in order to stay relevant, you have to do what everybody else is doing. What's the hottest?
But nobody's
thing.
doing hazy, juicy
well,
IPA.
No, I'm just saying. I'm trying to picture the boardroom and trying to put myself in that situation where, we've had these beers selling really well for us, and this is our brand, and we're sours, and we've got a great foeder program, and we do this for the community, we do all that, but we don't have what the young kids are drinking or what everybody's talking about, or all the Instagram pictures are showing all the haze, so we need to have hazy juicy. And they don't necessarily, I feel like it was born out of a true search for something that the brewers originally were questing for, something different, something new, that they understood the ingredients that they were using in a way that the people that you mentioned aren't understanding it, and they're just trying to, okay, well, if it's dry hopped, that's going to make it hazy, then I'm going to just dry hop it, but not understanding.
I mean, I'm sure there's exceptions to this rule, but the rule is don't just call out what it is in the name of the beer, like hazy and juicy. I mean, next it's going to be
but
like
how are people supposed to know what it is if you don't
adjunct
name it that?
stout, adjunct imperial stout, sweet adjunct pastry stout. I mean, that's coming next, I suppose.
That will be next year. That will be a category.
I think they
Yeah.
should have
Wait,
stuck
pastry
to what
stout.
they do
Do they-
best.
Don't they already have like a adjunct?
They
stout?
do at
Fobab.
they do at Fobab.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Specialty stout.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
They might.
I'm looking forward
Which
to.
Perennial did the Sean Hill or whatever Alex was talking about. They did the mic drop, which they won, or after everyone tried to do what they did, they just didn't enter it ever again. Their barrel aged Abraxas, which I think is smart. Nothing to lose. So the other thing I wanted to talk about with these styles that this discussion made me think about was, so when do they rewrite the style guidelines? Because I teach this class, and throughout the class we go over all the styles, and I'm looking at like the BJCP examples of it, and I've been teaching this class for several years, and this year in particular it became so irrelevant what the styles were saying for some of these hoppy beers, and in some way stouts too, to what is actually being produced. So like pale ale, you've got stuff like examples of the style are Sierra Nevada Pale Ale and Great Lakes Burning River, and we had one of those beers and then tried it next to a Half Acre beer, Half Awake, which is a lacto pale, right?
Right.
There's like very, very little in common for those beers, but they're both pale ales. And in this case, it's not that the category is being divided as much as it's just changing. There's legacy examples of it, but that's not really what those people are drinking when they get a pale ale these days. So the guidelines are still being judged against Sierra Nevada. So it's who can hit Sierra Nevada
So the
closest.
guidelines aren't evolving as quickly as the style itself.
They're just, the guidelines are set, right? I mean, I don't think the guidelines changed that much.
But perhaps they should.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but when do you say Sierra Nevada is not a classic APA? When it's the original APA.
Well, so you have IPA and then you have an English style IPA. Which
But it's
is
not
the
English,
classic.
that's APA.
No, but I'm saying that was what they decided to call the classic IPA.
Oh, I see where you're going, yeah.
So then that's an English style IPA, and now there's an American IPA or an American Pale Ale. So really, what's the difference in the APA and the American IPA?
More styles. We just need more styles, more categories. Yes. Neo-American.
I was going to call a call to action, but I read the wall, and we're not allowed to no calls to action.
No, but you can
to
mention
change
something
the
that's
style.
happening.
Oh.
Oh, no, that's not you can call that. You can say you should go and change it.
They also added a category for Pilsner.
Yes,
as well.
I wanted to talk about that too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they added like a hop forward Pilsner category.
What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, is Pivo going to win the gold in that all the time too?
Well, I think they did it so Pivo wouldn't just win every year.
Oh, okay.
Essentially. I mean, it's the Pivo category, right?
Yeah.
Basically.
Right.
No, is the
Pony hasn't won?
Pony's not Pivo.
peanut? Yeah.
I love Pony, but
I'm
it's
glad.
not
I'm
Pivo.
glad you said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so it's. Let me look. Let me see if I can pull it up here. There's Goes and Contemporary Goza, which is interesting. But there's Contemporary American Style Pilsner. Provides space for sessionable craft brew lager beers with higher hop aroma than found in pre-prohibition style beers. And I just realized I didn't start with the beer, the topic you wanted to. Doug.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
It's okay. We'll get to it next.
He's been drinking barrel-aged beer all day.
Yeah.
It's hard to read when you're watching Rocky IV for the third time.
Yeah.
Everyone can change.
Yeah.
Every style can change.
Every style can change. It's true. It's true. Was this needed? What do you guys do? I mean, does anyone care? I mean, does anyone care about any of this stuff? Let's be real.
I drink more Pilsners than I do Hazies, but that's just me.
But you care that there's a new style?
I do.
You do, honestly.
Yeah, because it's it's like, okay, what category is Pivo going to be in? Let's be in the opposite one.
But do you really care? You don't care. Nobody cares.
I care that we could talk about it. I guess I'm alone. I'm sorry. I'll go outside. I'll be on break.
All right, later. Goodbye.
Come back.
What we were supposed to lead with, and what Doug asked for us to lead with, was the Night Shift, the light lager. So can we take a short break and then come back to that, and then maybe we'll do a letter as well. Are you ready, Producer Jerry, with some tunes? Why don't we listen to 5 to 10 minutes of some music, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about light lager, the big thing in craft beer, right?
It's the new Hazy.
It's the new Hazy. That's the new thing. We'll be back very shortly with the Beer Temple Insiders Roundtable. To the Beer Temple Insiders Roundtable. I'm your host, Chris Quinn, interrupting some deep convo mid-sentence. Is this something you share with the rest of us? Or is this deep
We
stuff?
were talking about Dortmunders.
Okay. Just so people know what we talk about during the break, it's whatever Alex Kidd mentions. He was saying Dortmunder must be the new thing. Yep. Who's going to brew one first, Rev or Half Acre? Because apparently that's the style people are there to watch. Anyway.
I just went and brewed a Dortmunder on Thursday with Renhouse.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome.
Cool.
Is it Hazy?
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Wouldn't you like to know? Yeah. So I am here with my guests, Melanie Dominguez, Alex Kidd, Doug Buster Douglas, and we're going to talk about light lager. It's the new big thing, right? So Night Shift announced that they're doing 12 packs of light lager. Thoughts, Doug?
First thing I saw was the packaging, and I thought it was unbelievable. It's an awesome looking
Very
12
cool
pack. It's Night Shift Brewing, so a great name. They called it Night Light, and they made the imagery be their owl emblem is like a light bright, which I think a lot of their target audience probably played with as a kid, and it's just a really attractive, colorful looking 12 pack. It's apparently going to be about $15 for a 12-pack of light lager, which is expensive. It's got 20% corn. It's 4.3.
It's about the same price as like a 12-pack of pale ale or IPA would be, right? Of a craft beer.
Yeah, there are. Yeah. Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
What, Melanie?
Yeah.
I think, isn't it? I mean, that's kind of like what a 12-pack of Modelo costs too, though, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I mean, Modelo's in that weird spot where it kind of costs the same. Actually, I take it back because craft IPAs and stuff are upwards of like $20, right?
Sure.
Well, if you're
Yeah.
$8 for a 6-pack, that's 16.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So expensive compared to a light lager.
Correct.
Right.
A couple things I thought that were interesting about this is, depending on the size of your brewery, it would be hard to go to market with a larger package of a light lager. Especially if your distributor, which most of them do, have Miller Coors or Bud in their house, because it's hard to gain their support for a package that threatens their primary package. But the neat thing about, or the interesting thing about Night Shift is they own their own distributor, so they control that. And Massachusetts, where they are, is an independent state, meaning there not a lot of chain stores there like there are in, say, Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, a lot of our neighbors that are kind of dominated by most of the beer being sold through chain grocery stores. That's not the case in Massachusetts, so it won't be terribly difficult, is what I'm getting at, getting this package into stores there. They'll be able to, get it slots fairly easily, but
slots where people are actually buying beer is, so you can get slots in a non-independent place, but just not high velocity for light lager spots.
Yeah.
Here it would be in Chicago. It would be like a Walgreens or a Target or something like that. I just wanted to clarify for people. Yeah,
sure.
I'm sorry.
So I'm fascinated by it. I'm dying to get a 12-pack because I want to see what it tastes like. I like Night Shift. I used to, years ago, I've had like Cork and Cages from them. I've had
the Berliners, right?
From them, and now they're making a 12-pack of light lager. I just think it's interesting. The packaging looks awesome. I'd like to get a can or a 12-pack. But what I'm curious about is, I know that this thing will sell very well in its early run. You like to bring up my coworker Don's term of loading the pipeline. It will take like a year to really know if this thing was successful or not, because it will sell right away.
Wants the packaging, wants to try it,
everybody
wants to try
this. But then once the sizzle is gone, then you're looking at a $15 12-pack of light lager, and then it's like, well, people continue to buy that. People that buy light lagers, I was just talking to Melanie in the break. I see people that buy light lagers as one of two, where either one, they're just going to buy, if you think of the big three, one group just buys the cheapest one, whichever one's on sale. And then the other group is just a diehard for one of those. And a lot of that is all those marketing dollars over all the years that just like kind of developed a loyalty to them. Like if I have to pick up one of the three for my softball team I play at, I'm a Coors Light guy. I buy Coors Light. I used to work at a Miller Coors distributor, and I've just always, of the three, preferred Coors Light, but it's mostly just marketing, packaging. That's I am. So I'm just wondering, once that honeymoon is over, who is going to buy these? And I'm not saying nobody will, but I'm just having trouble seeing where it'll fit in once it's not new anymore. And I'm very curious to watch, and I hope I'm wrong. But
I hope you're wrong as well. I tend to agree that it's going to be it's a weird space. I wonder if they're going for the like hipster hams crowd. Like they want people who are doing a beer and a shot at the end of the night after having a night of craft beers, or if they're going in to buy a 6-pack and a 12-pack of something, if we're talking about at a liquor store, rather than PBR or something like that, a case of PBR, maybe they'll do a 12-pack of Night Shift Light. And it's interesting. It's a big. They're really trying to wedge themselves into a place that has been the stronghold and a deep, deep stronghold of big beer. And craft beer has moved themselves into the multi-pack aisle, into the multi-pack door of the cooler is kind of how I've put it. You know, they've been kind of edging themselves, and then All Day, as you mentioned, Doug, in past shows, kind of was the first one that really did very well in that 12-pack door of the liquor store, you know, cooler. But there's still those the mainstays, and this is the next kind of step in getting towards that, and it's a different. One, like you said, it's a different drinker. One, or it's a craft drinker in a different mindset, who, if they want craft, isn't like, if I want craft, I'll get craft. I want something different. And then it does become a money issue. It becomes a value play. I'm very curious to see as well, and I'm with you. I have my doubts, but I'd love to be proven wrong and see if craft can kind of get a toehold in the kind of value multi-pack as well. Right. Curious to see. I mean, any thoughts from the rest of the gallery there? Well, I see Melanie grabbing her microphone. Oh, and then quickly pushing it back away. Okay.
No,
okay.
I was listening to what you were saying, and I'm just curious to know, isn't it still craft, even though it's a corn lager?
Sure, but craft is like all but meaningless at this point, I think.
Yeah, I think we should come up with a new term, but it's still a craft brewery making a...
I should note that they are outsourcing it, and they're getting a contract, another brewery to contract brew this beer, which is worth pointing out.
Who's contracting it? Who's contracting it? FX Mat or something?
It was a brewery I hadn't heard of.
Okay.
It's not in Massachusetts. It's in like Connecticut or Rhode Island or somewhere nearby.
Okay, that's interesting.
Not that changes the legal
I mean, and the funny thing is, like, it becomes
kind of
it goes it goes so many ways. Things are becoming so blended and melded together, because if it does work, then like Yuengling can kind of just like blend into that, and then from it makes it very. I think in the long run, it makes it very hazy. That's why Eric is a big fan of this stuff, because this stuff is getting really hazy. And I think in the long run, who's going to take advantage of it is the people with the most marketing dollars, personally. Mm-hmm. I think the big winners of all this race to light lager multi-packs is going to be AB InBev, because they're the biggest. That's what I think. In the long run, they're going to take advantage of all of it. They're going to, they're down now, but I think they're going to come back and they'll just buy some.
I think it kind of occupies a weird market segment of like a penumbra between somebody who's super into craft, who's kind of experiencing that palate rollback after like they've had all the craziest sours or craziest stouts, or a consumer who doesn't want to look like they went straight macro big three, like they put a little thought into it. But you're never going to catch the macro kids, and you're never going to catch people who just don't care at all. So it's like this weird market segment of people who are demonstrating that they care more than they do, or that they care less than they actually do.
So it's like the either people who are maybe import buyers, or just like the superficial crowd who wants to like roll in with the cool 12-pack to the tailgate party, something like that.
Well, I think he has one. Not that both points weren't good, but in particular, the one about cleansing the palate in between, when we want a nice light something, a lager. I was tasting a nice lager from Motoro today, actually, that they're canning. And, sometimes you do want something just light and... Yep. But
definitely. I mean, I don't think that's in question, is that people want a palate refresher, a palate reset, something light and easy to drink many of. I'm just curious if they're going to pay, if they want a craft brewery to do that. If it can compete at that game.
In the places where this is going to sit. Like they've been making this for 2 years, and it's a great seller at their tap room. So there's no doubt to them that there's demand for it. It's just the game changes when it's in a 12-pack in the coolers of convenience stores. That's a different ballgame.
How long until a regional or national craft brewery tries the same thing?
Didn't Founders just do it?
So you would consider that to be a light lager, that new thing they just put out? What's a P?
Isn't it?
No.
Solid Gold.
Solid Gold, yeah.
They explicitly say that they're trying to compete with the big macro lagers with that beer. And the branding looks like Modelo, too, so.
And I think Firestone Walker just came out with just lager.
Right.
Lager.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that the next big play, Doug? You said Golden Ales, and you nailed that before. Is Nick Nuns' race to the bottom? Becoming more and more true.
Hi, Nick. I love you.
Yep, he does. He talks about you quite a bit. But
I'm questioning that it'll work. Do I think other people are going to do this? Absolutely. If Founders is doing it and they see some success, I think others will. I don't think everybody's going to try to do this.
Well, everyone tried to do session IPAs, and nobody is now except kind of Founders and a few. They're still doing it pretty well, right? The session IPA thing is pretty much dead, right? No?
I guess. I don't know.
I guess?
I think so.
I think it is. It's dead. Nobody's putting out session IPAs. Not like they used to. No? Silence. Silence. You know what silence means? No. For the listeners out there, silence means that people are afraid to say something because their friends might get their feelings
I'll say
hurt.
I'm just thinking, like, Eric, has Half Acre ever called anything a session IPA? I'm not saying you haven't. I just didn't know.
No, we haven't.
We haven't either, and we're two of the two biggest. So I'm just, does everybody do session? No. I'm just...
No, but also when session IPAs were the thing, you weren't as big as you are right now.
Okay.
That was 3 years ago when there was the big things, I think, and you guys were also considerably small. What were you going to say, Alex?
Oh, I was going to say, I think it's a lot of the same sort of territory that we'll see with session IPAs. It was people who previously were already drinking craft, and that became a hot new thing, ratcheted back, ultra hoppy, lower bodied, lower ABV stuff. But it wasn't like uninitiated people that literally didn't care. Like, they weren't ordering the session IPA strictly on ABV or flavor profile. It was people ratcheting palates backwards to that profile, and you weren't getting an entry-level consumer, and that's why it fell off. And I see the same thing happening with this new Night Shift beer, in that if it doesn't take fire with like the strictly casual who doesn't mind paying a $3 markup on something above macro, then I don't see it getting traction.
Totally agree. On the second part,
there's also other breweries on the East Coast who are making lagers and putting them out in bigger packaging. Like Jack's Abbey makes really awesome lagers, and they have a 15-pack. I forget the name of the beer, but I had that at a fest last year.
It's their lager. They've been making that for a long time,
right? Yeah, and they've got like they're a lager only brewery, and they started putting. I hate that I'm blanking on the name right now, but they have a 15-pack that does really well. I think
it's called like lager or something.
It might be. Yeah. But it does really well for them. Like, it does insanely well because it puts them in that position in a lot of those places in the off-premise / convenience stores that Night Shift probably didn't have access to until they have this beer. So I think that, it's going to do well for Night Shift, but it's also like they're not the first ones on the East Coast to do it.
So maybe just Night Shift is better at putting up press releases and
probably and the packaging is awesome. I can't dispute that at all.
Yeah.
So,
but if session IPA is over, the standout though is All Day, right? Is All Day down? Is All Day still doing really well?
All Day's slaying it,
right? And that is kind of like the session IPA. That's the, if not the original, the first to like blow up and kind of set the trend, the archetype, I'll say. And it's doing really, really well, and it's very broad.
Based
but
on price mostly, right?
Well, and it's hoppy, and it's people want an IPA based on price that's easy to drink, and they've kind of done that thing.
And it's a 15-pack.
And it's a 15-pack. It started out as a 6-pack, and they just figured out this isn't how people want to do it. And there's been a lot of other breweries who've tried to do session IPAs. A lot of other breweries have done it and aren't doing it anymore.
I love when they moved from the 12-pack to the 15-pack, and it was make all day last even longer. It's like, you guys have marketing people.
That was funny. And then Rev was like, well, we can add 3 more cans.
We'll show you.
Yeah, exactly. We'll do 18.
Those after Oscar Blues did a 16-pack, and Rev's like, no, we can do 2 more. We'll show you guys.
Yeah, the 16-pack was kind of funny, too. But 18, I think, works better than 16, personally. But
It's divisible by 3.
yeah, exactly. So we haven't done letters in a while. I want to do letters. Are we okay to move on?
Sure.
Right? Okay. Anything else people want to talk about? Night Shift, light lager in general, craft light lager. Is that a thing? Can it be a thing? Is craft a thing? Okay. All right.
See.
We shall see for all of it. So people write in letters, preferably handwritten letters or hand-typed letters. We have gotten a typewriter-typed letter, only one. So, come on, hipsters. I know that's how you guys want to correspond.
Put down your Nightlight 12-packs. Get your typewriter out.
Yeah.
Type us up a letter.
Right. Type a letter.
Kill you to get some parchment paper and fire up some calligraphy. We're going to class it up.
Oh, that would be
That would
amazing.
be awesome.
If someone wrote with a quill pen, that would be awesome. But I'd need to have a video, or it didn't happen. But we did really get a true typewriter written letter. But anyway, you can handwrite it, all of it. It's much appreciated. It's 3219 South Morgan Street in Chicago, Illinois. That is the Co-Prosperity Sphere. You can send it to the Beer Temple or to Edmar or to really anybody. If you're writing a letter, you know who to send it to. That's fine. If you want to go the easy route, which is also fine, it's fine. It's fine if you want to do it that way. If you don't want to buy a typewriter, that's okay. Just kind of shows your commitment, I guess. But it's, there's a doggy there. It's insiders at craftbeertemple.com, insiders at craftbeertemple.com. And you can really write pretty much anything, and people do write pretty much anything. This letter goes as follows. Dear Chris, parentheses, and statistically, Doug Valicki, a Dust Brother, and Pat Berger / Fahey. Well, pretty on the nose right there. In one of your recent shows, Chris mentioned that Sierra Nevada and Weihenstephaner are teaming up to make a dry hopped Hefeweizen. While I agree with the panel that both parties are assured to play this collaboration as conservatively as possible, got me thinking. If the OG hazy beers, Hefeweizen and Whip Beer, are maybe due for a hip rebrand. One beer that has been brought up many times on the show is the Hefeweizen from Live Oak Brewing in Austin, Texas. Its crushability, to use a crush your own term, and big flavor made it both a favorite among Texan craft beer casuals and the industry types that love to tell you that Helles Lager is the next big thing. Do you have to go, Doug? Okay. This lighter, more fruit-forward style of Hefeweizen isn't being copied by breweries everywhere is somewhat surprising when you consider that the mass proliferation of New England-style IPA, which could be argued is a variation of the, quote, conventional American IPA that is more approachable but much more expensive to make than left shelf-stable. Hold on, let me read that sentence again. I didn't read it quite coherently.
That's good. We're not recording, so let's try this again. 3, 2, 1, action.
Okay. That this lighter, more fruit-forward style of Hefeweizen isn't being copied by breweries everywhere is somewhat surprising when you consider the mass proliferation of the New England-style IPA, which could be argued is a variation of the conventional American IPA that is more approachable but is also much more expensive to make than less shelf stable. A fruity, hazy pale ale that everyone finds approachable. This is undeniably Heffelane. Given the current craft beer landscape, are wheat beers in a prime position to climb back to the top of the charts? Are they too mired in the image of the brew pubs of the 90s and early aughts? Does the Hefeweizen need a Sean Hill-type brewer personality to make wheat beers on a yet-to-be-seen artistic level for their profile to be raised? Cheers. Nate from Chicago. Thanks, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Interesting stuff there. He's saying that, haze has been a thing for a while. Sorry to break the news. I think Dusty was trying to tell you that for a while, Buster, but you didn't want to listen. But anyway, are Hefeweizen's going to be a big craft brewery thing? Everyone's looking around like, no way.
I think not, but let me just say, if I'm going to be completely honest here, I'm going to pull the curtain back a little bit.
Yeah.
I really love a good wit and a good Hefeweizen, pretty more than I think any other style of beer that exists. And I know that makes me basic.
No, it doesn't make you
I'm
basic.
okay with
I
that.
mentioned St. Bernardus Wit in a can as one of the beers that I was really excited about.
Wait, would you consider yourself an industry type that loves to tell you that Helles Lager is the next big thing? Because according to Nate from Chicago, they also love Hefeweizens.
That's true.
Yeah,
no, I was
there you
so
go.
at the brewery 2 days ago. We were doing a blind tasting where we're looking at a beer, we're describing the flavors, we're getting really nerdy about it. We're going into the aromatics and being very descriptive on exactly what we're tasting, exactly what we're seeing, etc. And we get these beers, we don't know what they are, and the one that they poured for us that I was in love with and I was convinced was the Allagash White, which is one of my all-time favorite beers, was Hominy by Tokoyo or Takayo or whatever. And it was so good. And I was obsessed with it. And I went and bought a 6-pack the next day. There's only 2 left in my fridge. I'm not trying to be ahead of the curve or anything like that. I'm just saying that's what I personally enjoy and have been for. That's what got me into craft beer. It wasn't Sierra Nevada or anything.
It was Allagash White?
Yeah, it was.
Or Blue Moon or whatever.
Well, it was Blue Moon, and then I got into Unibrew.
No.
But Hefeweizens and Wits are very, very, very different styles.
I know that.
And so if I'm talking to Nate.
Oh, sure.
I don't know if they are very different styles. I think they're very similar styles.
Yeah,
I think they are.
Similar in that they use the same yeast.
Similar in
But
that you
with-
drink them when you're looking for the same kind of thing.
They have similar. I think Nate has an interesting point. I don't think that it's going to be the next thing, but they are sweeter beers. They have some fruity esters to them. They are hazy. It would make sense that it would be the next place people would go, but it's not who got Nelson hops? They're going to be able to make this beer, and no one else will be able to do it. I think anyone can make this kind of beer.
Anyone can make which kind of beer?
Like a Hefeweizen. I'm not saying everyone can do it well.
Oh, okay.
But
you're saying anyone can do a hazy beer well.
Apparently not.
Well, apparently,
we'll
yes.
See. We're going to wait until GABF, and we'll see if anyone can actually do it. True to style. I'm really excited for the award ceremony to when they'll say, and there was no gold medal awarded in this category.
Hazy Juicy.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
That would be amazing.
Are they going to announce that last, or are they going to announce the standard IPA last? Because when you sit in the award ceremony, you sit there for 3 hours, and they go through every single style, 4 different red ales. You go through everything, and then they're like, and the IPA, which everyone in this room entered into the category. That's when they announce it. So I'm curious to see which one is the grand finale.
Do you really think that hazy could be the grand finale?
I hope so.
You really do?
Yeah, for sure. I'm sorry we're talking about this again.
No, that's a great point. I mean, because that is what people are going to be most interested in.
If it's the most competitive category, I think it might.
It'll keep the butts in the seats.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We'll see.
Interesting. I don't think they care about the butts in the seats. Do you think that?
But I think it's more. I'm going to get back to Nate.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we got
Let's
off track.
get back to
and
you,
I
Nate.
want to talk about this because this is actually one of my favorite styles of beer as well. Actually, the Belgian Wit style more than the German Hefeweizen, because to make a good Hefeweizen, you must bottle condition, and not everybody can do that. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties. Thank you. But to do a wit or a wheat beer is different than doing a traditional German Hefeweizen.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that if somebody's trying to do a Hefeweizen, I don't know that they're going to do it well. It could be the next best thing, next big thing that people are going to try to do. I know that people are trying to do wheat ales, American wheat ales, which are different than wit beers, which,
If anything, it would be like a cryoed hef. It would be. No, I'm not even. I am totally serious. It would be a over the top American, which is what Nate led with. He talked about Sierra Nevada and Weihenstephan doing a dry hopped version of a hef, and it seemed like it could be awesome. I
feel like Whitaker tried it a couple years ago.
I mean, that wouldn't be the same as Trillium and Live Oak doing it.
Well, no.
I think one of the things that's kind of attendant to all of these styles is that the consumer's ready for this non-clarified, I don't want to say like hazy necessarily, but a cloudier wheat-driven profile. You're seeing more grisettes being brewed, more table beers, more Belgian singles. Brian Stillwater Strumke is putting money in the streets with those cans of Classique, and this is kind of an extension of that, where you see Live Oak pumping the hef, and I think even saisons are kind of in a renaissance of sorts as well. So in terms of if the breweries are going to make it, it's going to be profitable. I think that they'll make kind of what you were alluding to, a less estery version, maybe that's dry hopped, that's kind of a reaching across the aisle sort of version.
I mean, the beers that have had mass appeal are light lagers and wheat beers. And now IPAs and pale ales. Like, those are the three things. So, it might be people have tried the hoppy lagers and hoppier lagers. I mean, it could become something. It probably wouldn't be a hef. It probably won't be a wit, but it could be
Jungle Boogie.
Jungle Boogie, exactly. It could be something like Jungle Boogie. I don't know. Just kind of curious. Stupid question, Nate. Shouldn't have written that. So, anyway, hopefully the next letter is better than that stupid one. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's kidding. I mean, he's kidding. Come on. I'm sure Nate knows that we appreciated his letter. And when you say Jesus Christ off mic, it gets picked up. I mean, everyone hears you doing that.
Easter's coming up. Just wanted to put that out there.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I didn't want to call to action, but it is next Sunday.
Right.
Sunday after that's WrestleMania. Just put it out there, too.
Oh, man. Thanks for mentioning that.
Right.
Are
you guys doing an event at Beer Temple this year for WrestleMania?
Can't say. I mean, we might be. I probably should. Doug and I might have to talk about that.
A little scramble action.
Yeah, we'll scramble to do that quickly. So a quick thing. I'm not quite. Did you want to talk about the future of distribution? That seems like a big topic for 10 minutes. We can talk about this aluminum tariff that's coming down. Does anyone care about that? No. Right? No. That's kind of why I wanted to mention it, because does anyone care? I mean, because the big, like, CNNmoney.com, which is a serious news source here, seems to think that craft breweries are going to care. I haven't heard anyone talk about it. And I know Alex probably is, like, trembling over this aluminum tariff. So, I know I am. Yeah.
All of my readers, pretty much exclusively, just all aluminum-driven consumers.
Yeah, it's like beer secondary. I've moved into the 16-ounce format because there's more aluminum in it than a 12-ounce, and I'm hoping we go to this what I call them, the stovepipe cans.
Yeah.
And which Rev, you've done that, right? Aren't you moving into those big cans?
We have one. We have our main beer, Anti-Hero, in a 19.2. Yeah.
Yeah. What's going on? Stop that.
That's CNN, bro.
Oh. Stop. Good call. I just immediately tried to blame the producer. Sorry, Jerry. Of course, all the mistakes are mine. Well, I don't really want to get into anything else. This is the last time. I mean, we only have 15 minutes left.
Well, let's get Doug's opinion on the Witt Hefeweizen letter from Nate. Because we did appreciate your letter, Nate.
Have I left you off now twice?
Again.
Well, then why don't you speak up,
No,
dude?
I didn't have a lot on this one.
You guys make a wit.
I think we do, and we make a wit, and it does okay. What I think the answer to his prediction might be some kind of compromise where, in my opinion, no, I don't think that Hefeweizens will overtake IPA in any even medium future. But I could see some breweries coming out, like I used that Jungle Boogie example, but it reminded me of a conversation I had with Ed Ed Marzuski when I went to their tap room for the first time. And I just, one thing I said to him was like, it's really cool that you've kind of broken the barrier that your flagship beer can not be an IPA as they did with Jungle Boogie. And Live Oak is a great example, and I know they have a great Pils too, so I don't know what they consider their lead beer, but they are kind of known for that Hefeweizen. And locally, you throw in Dovetail, and I remember when Dovetail first started, they have a couple beers they're known for, not just their Hef, but I've never heard anybody here talking about, hey, when you go to this brewery, you got to try their Hefeweizen.
The wheat or the Hef, yeah.
I made, my first trip there with that beer in mind and made sure that was the first thing I ordered because I was so curious to see why people were, for the first time telling me I needed to go to this place to try a Hefeweizen.
You're talking about Dovetail.
And it was awesome. And that probably wouldn't be if they started canning their first beer. It might be their second or third, but I could see like a situation like that where there are in every market a brewery or two who does kind of break the mold of your top seller has to be an IPA. I see a few breweries per market, maybe one per market someday, not too far from now, having a Hef. Yeah, I could see that. It's tough on the distribution side with, trying to beat Blue Moon and Shock Top. If you look at IRI data, you're going to see that this style, as they measure it, is doing great. But that's because of two brands. And then there's just this massive drop-off before you get to the third one.
What is the third one? Do you even know?
It's 312.
It depends on the market. But
312 and probably, in Chicago, obviously, it's Blue Moon and 312, and then Shock Top somewhere after that.
Okay.
On this topic of tangential hefts that are kind of come out of catalog from places that aren't super known for them, recently Three Floyds rebottled Drunk Monk, and I got like 10 people just rattling my cage about this goddamn. Oh, sorry. Can I?
Yeah, you can say that. That's fine.
Okay, about this.
You can't,
this
but that's not a curse.
But this hef, and so I was like, fine. And so they sent it to me, and again, it's like there are certain breweries that aren't necessarily known for it. I wouldn't say that Three Floyds would be like the paradigm of subtlety. I don't want all the Dust Bros to get all crazy on me, but this was an excellent beer. An excellent beer that I could see not contending with, the flagship beers, but kind of what Doug was alluding to, padding out the ranks with different tap handles and different offerings for a pre-existing catalog.
Well, I mean, yes. If I think padding out your portfolio, certainly. But what about if you said that IRI is saying that wheat is doing great? Could that be the next kind of door in the supermarket? Like, well, we're not going after the wheat beer drinker. I think Allagash has done an amazing job for the craft drinker, but it hasn't really broken over to the mass. It hasn't broken out. I mean, people aren't trying to.
Well, the mass doesn't buy 4-packs, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's in a 4-pack. It's fairly pricey for a 4-pack, especially to someone who you're grouping in the
But it's
mass,
put them
right?
as a top 50 brewery in the. I mean, that single brand has put them in the top 50.
Yep.
It's I think they're top 50, right? You're looking at me.
Yeah, they're in the 30s. So.
Yeah. And they're 90% or 80% or something like that at least.
70.
They're 70% white?
It's not as much as you think.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, then, okay. They're only 70% one brand. But still. So, I mean, it's a big brewery doing primarily white. But people haven't been able to kind of be the other craft wit beer. It seems like there is, or what's up? Nothing? Okay. I don't want to say anything. If I don't explicitly ask Doug, we'll just go silent, and then everyone else will tell me I didn't ask for his opinion. But other times he doesn't want to say anything. I don't know. It's curious. I mean, I think there is. That's when you call someone out when they don't want to talk. I think that I don't know. I don't see it happening, but I do see that there seems to be an opening there. Blue Moon and Shock Top are very uncool to go after, but
well, you operate a store. What is different about Shock Top, Blue Moon, and Allagash White in terms of how they get to your store?
I'm not sure where you're going. How they get to my store? Mm-hmm. Different distributors. Yeah.
So that's something to consider.
Yeah. So you're saying that Allagash. So I see. So what Doug is saying, in my opinion, is that the Miller House, which would be Blue Moon, and the Bud House, which would be Shock Top, would block a potential contender for that style from getting into the portfolio, where Allagash is in a different book and could even potentially block another big contender from getting in, and it's kind of becomes political and gamesmanship at that point, which is interesting to think. It's something to consider. Do you think that's the case, Doug? It
just makes it difficult when you have three well-respected brands, all three of those that do so well. It's just hard to. There's only so much attention that can be given to a style like that,
or interest from a distributor to pick up a new brand. In other words,
that's like one they already have. Yeah.
But what could change that is a book that is, or a brewery that is already with them putting out a new beer, like a Founders putting out an all day. I mean, somebody's kind of have to do something different. I mean, Night Shift, you're what's up? Nothing?
I'm curious what you're going to say.
No, I mean, we need to have a live feed on here because his eyes are speaking. You're saying like you're an idiot with that last little. I'm not sure I agree. What I was going to say is, I mean, there's other styles that have broken through before, and that once you have a brewery, like for example, Rev,
sure.
Right? You're on the Miller House, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so that is Blue Moon territory, right? So, do you think that that bottom up wit, is hampered because you are in the same book as Blue Moon?
Yeah,
you do. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a major problem, but it's hard. It's always going to be the case. It's more the example I use with like the light lager. Like it would be hard for us to go to market with a 24-pack of light lager.
But now, what is a Miller owned or a Miller House IPA?
It's probably different by city. So for us, it'd be Rev Half Acre and Firestone.
It's a bad example. So, like in a Bud House, then do you think it's harder to get an IPA out because a Bud House would have Goose IPA?
Maybe.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I guess, but
no. I mean, if you were in a Bud House except a Miller House, would Anti-Hero be hard to get out because of Goose IPA?
Yeah, it would be harder. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. Interesting. We are
Absolutely.
out. What?
I said absolutely.
Yeah,
I
but
agree
people
with
are doing.
that.
I mean, Bell's and Founders all day is here in a Blue House.
But if you're at a place
Or
and
Red
you're
House, I
selling
mean.
a wit beer to that place and you're making so many dollars off of selling Blue Moon, are you going to then be like, oh, wait, you know what? I'm going to have you buy this bottom-up wit.
Well, they have such dominant control of the category, but that's how all this stuff has been kind of wiggled into. I mean, there's been cracks in the wall, and then it kind of gets spread out. Anyway, what do I know? Which is very little. Time to get out of here, guys. I think it's time for us to not have plugs, not have calls to action, but if there's anything you want to mention that is happening, you can't tell anyone to do it, but you can tell someone that it's happening. Now would be the time, or just talk about something that you're excited about. Melanie, anything you want to talk about?
No, thanks
No?
for having me
Oh, you're welcome.
at the last minute.
Oh, that's a nice one. Doug, anything for you?
I got nothing. But thanks everybody for listening.
You guys suck.
If you're not following Don't Drink Beers on Instagram, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
All right.
Also on my SO Zombie Dust, if anyone is a Dust Bro and wants to say what's up, hit me and Mike up. Get us with them Zombie Dust. We'll see you guys at Dark Lord Day this year. We're going to have a couple booths selling different merch, T-shirts, all sorts of swag. We're going to have stickers, buttons, patches, quilts, you name it. We're going to be out there. Got to say what's up to my Dust Brother family.
All right. I'm down. Can't wait to check it out. Anything for you, Alex?
Did you get a ticket today? For
What,
Zom-
they
for
went out.
for
They went
Dark
out.
Lord Day?
Zombo tickets went out today.
Not Zombo.
Hot controversy.
Dark.
Yeah,
Dark Lord.
apparently some Dark Lord Day tickets went on sale today. We didn't get to talk about that.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Yeah, spicy.
I'm out of it.
yeah.
What happened?
I only know about it because of Don't Drink Beers.
Oh, really?
Because
What
of
happened,
here.
Alex?
So basically, the same kind of thing that happened with Lost Abbey's
Oh,
Beer
yeah.
Society. The password got leaked, and it was something super obvious, like DLD 2018 or something. So people went in and just bought all these Group A tickets or Session A, but it doesn't even matter because the reason you do that is to get the special variant, and now those are lottery anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know why people care, but so anyways, that happened, and they sent out an email saying, "Hey, we noticed you bought tickets well in advance of when you were supposed to. We're going to refund you," and then nobody got refunded. It's just that's your ticket.
Okay. There you go. Anything you want to plug on the way out, Alex? Thanks for coming on.
Ooh, I think last weekend of April, I'm going to be doing the Don't Drink Beer live comedy show in Phoenix.
Whoa, you're
so
on the road.
Yeah, still hammering out the details with Ren House on that, but it should coincide with that Dortmunder release, Phoenix Down, so that'll be interesting.
All right, cool. Well, I wanted to thank everybody. I did just get a text. I just noticed a text from Ed saying to turn everyone's mics up. So I'll have to do that in post. So sorry about that, guys. I'm going to be very, very loud. Thanks, everyone. I wanted to thank you to my guests, Melanie, Doug, Buster Douglas, Alex Kidd, Don't Drink Beers, Don't Drink Beer, and everyone else. We will see you next week with more of the Beer Temple Insiders Roundtable. So long.
Remember, this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again. Remember, this is what we wanted. Remember, this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again.